Hello everybody and welcome back to Ace Luckstar Gaming, and we're going to be playing the Pro Cycling Manager today, and we are going to be racing a very special race. It's Liege-Bastonge-Liege, and we're putting a spin on it today. We have got a roster from 2003. We're going to be running with the United States Postal Service, as you can see here. We have Lance Armstrong, Dave Zabriskie, we have Floyd Landis, Roberto Harris, Manuel Beltran, George Hincapie, Victor Hugo Pena, and George Barry. So, in today's event, of course, overall leader will be Lance Armstrong. And in this race, it's more of a punchers race, not really a climbers race, but we're going to give it our best try with this tour team here. And as you know by now, 2003, Lance was winning the Tour de France, where he ended up going on to win 7 times before he was stripped of them. But we're racing here in the race today, and 256 kilometers of this race. Very, very hilly. Liege-Bastonge-Liege is a really, really hilly race, and it takes a lot of stamina and a lot of conditioning. To look at our conditioning for today, Lance is going to be 91% conditioned for today. Floyd Landis is actually coming in at 97. Dave Zabriskie in at 95. Roberto Harris, 94%. Manuel Beltran is coming in at 91. George Hincapie at 96. Victor Hugo Pena, who is kind of a dark horse, but he's only at 89% in his conditioning, and George Barry coming in at 80%. Now, the reason that I brought George Barry and George Hincapie, their only job in this race is if we get to the midway point of the race, and at that point we're 5 to 8 minutes down from the peloton versus the breakaway, I will put George Hincapie and George Barry up on front, and we will bring that breakaway back just so that we can try to get there and win this race. And so that's kind of our plans for this. And I was just going through the people that were in this race, and I see 2 big time people that could end up winning from the 2003 era. I would look at it being Joaquim Rodriguez, or maybe even Polo Betten. Either one of those are big time contenders and really are going to be ones to kind of watch today, because at this point in time they're the ones I think pose the biggest threat, because they can accelerate a little bit better than Lance Armstrong. That's the only thing. Lance Armstrong is a climber, and he wants big hilly areas, and he wants to be able to grind through, whereas those other guys are more punchers, to where they will just flat out leave him sitting in the dust, and they can take the small hills. And so you can see the riders here. We have Bogard all the way down to Ramses from Lamprey. They're at Quick Step. You can see Betten, Hannibal for Team Bianchi, Axel Merckx for Lotto Domo. So when you look at this, those are really the only 2 guys that really worry me a great deal to be able to go with Lance. And I'm hoping that Lance has enough at 91%. I would have liked to have saw him come in above 95 to really had a chance today, because when we get down to the, as you can see in the bottom right hand corner on the profile, there's a small, sharp, jagged hill right before the end. I'm hoping that that's where I will be able to take Lance and really be able to go after the race. I hope I've got enough time there to be able to climb, because if it's not a big enough climb, of course, Joaquim Rodriguez will just climb right over and beat me at the finish line because he's got more acceleration. So we'll just speed things up here for a little bit and because we're still 230 kilometers away, and all we're going to be doing is just grinding it out if we don't speed it up just a little bit. And here in this race, we're going to be also taking a look. Victor Hugo Pena could be a dark horse for us just because of things like his acceleration and whatnot, but he's only at 89% for his conditioning. I actually looked at even thinking about taking in Floyd Landis and almost putting him in the break, because at overall 74, I think they might have let him go, but he had 97 conditioning, so we knew, we've had a big fall. Tyler Hamilton has fallen. Tyler's another one for the CSC team that could pose a threat, but he is also a climber. So Tyler Hamilton, I'm not really that concerned with him as far as the end finish, because again, if this were traditional, I would not even think on a day like today that, number one, Lance Armstrong would race this race, because he got out of the classics. He won his world championship before his cancer, and when he was still a great one-day racer. And then after his cancers, everybody knew he got smaller, and his weight ratio went down, and his wattage output versus his kilograms of weight matched up a little bit more to where he could become a climber. But so this race is not really even suited for Lance. But considering that I don't like to do anything to where it's traditional, we're going to try to blow this race apart, and we're going to try our best to go into this race. And we've had another fall. Sorensen, Bellin. But back to what I was talking about. I want to blow this race apart. I don't want to do anything traditional. And so we're going to take it at these guys. And there's Picken. Picken has withdrawn. Probably from the crash. Probably got hurt. So he's out of the race. So we're going to try our best right here in this race to just absolutely lay the gauntlet down. If we have to, we'll put our guys on the front here and closer to the end, just to try to stretch the elastic, try to snap it, just so that we can get, because we know Lance Armstrong's going to have extreme stamina, because that's what he was known for through his days at this time. So we want to stay right up here at the front of the race and keep ourselves out of trouble, because we already saw we've had 2 falls, we've had 1 withdrawal simply because of the fall. And as you can see, our profile, very, very nasty racing. This would be a very tough race to get through, because just of the undulations and the hills, nasty race for Liege-Bastonge-Liege. And that's why I wanted to bring the 2003 roster in today, because I thought, we could see today's racers and, see Froome and see all those guys. But I wanted to bring back the old school days of, I guess, the doping era, and bring them into the racing and see what they did. Just like I would like to do a series coming up soon, maybe. Oh, and Tyler Hamilton has punctured now. Not only did he fall, now he's punctured a tire. So he's going to have a hard time winning this race, because I believe he's going to have put out too much stamina. But I would like to maybe run the tour here and use maybe this 2003 roster and go up against the guys of the past and see if Lance could not still win it all with the tour, in the Tour de France here with this roster. And that's something that later on in this channel we might do. We might actually take this database with the 2003 guys and see if we can't go against Jan Ullrich and Tyler Hamilton and all the rest, and see if we can't just win a Tour de France. We're getting closer to the end, and like I've always said, you get down around 50 kilometers to go. That's the time I like to send back, and as you can see, we've already lost George Berry. The 80% stamina was not good enough for this race. If you're not near 90%, you're done. And as you can even look at George Hincapie, he's 89, finished. Dave Zabriskie, he's at 95%, but where he's not a out and out climber and in top condition, he's done as well. So we're getting down to only Beltran, Herreras, Pena, and Lance. And I would say it will get down for us to where it's only Herreras and Lance. Everybody else we're going to sacrifice if we have to. But as you can see, we're 3 minutes out, 47 kilometers to go. I'm not really concerned about the breakaway because the groups up front are smashing out a very good pace. Obviously, it's killing the rest of our team even. But we're already brought it down to 2:45. So we're going to bring this race back. They will. So I'm just going to save our guys, trying to get us closer to the end just to keep Lance Armstrong protected. As you can see, that's why I like to keep everybody around him and keep him safe. And we've got Floyd still protecting him, trying to keep him safe out of it. And as you can see, we've now lost 3 guys. Hincapie, Zabriskie, and Berry have all run out of gas, and they're done. So maybe in the comments, if y'all could, just tell me if you would like to see us go in and maybe race the Tour de France with the 2003 roster, because I think it would be something that would be interesting to see, and we would take it and maybe do 3 or 4 stages at a time, maybe make it a 5 to 7 part series, and just let him go through the 2003 Tour de France and see if we couldn't win it again. And we may even take a team outside of US Postal Service, maybe like Tyler Hamilton's team, maybe even Jan Ulrich's team, and see if we can't take Jan Ulrich and go toe-to-toe with Lance Armstrong and beat Lance Armstrong. Here we are, 20 kilometers from the finish, and we are getting ready to get to our spot. We're not far off from where I want to attack. We've got plenty of water, because like I said, once we get to 50 kilometers, I like to send my guy back, get water for everybody, because I've noticed with the game, around 50 kilometers is how much you've got enough water for 50 kilometers. So at 50 kilometers I like to go. Sends my guy back. By the time that we're to 40 kilometers, he's brought the water back, so I know at the end of the race I don't need any water. And everybody's full water, because the worst thing is to lose the race because you ran out of water at the end and your stamina and everything it just smashes you. You'll bonk, and that's it. So we're back on pace with everybody. There's only 26 of us. We're around 15, 16 kilometers to go. As you can see, Lance still has pretty decent stamina for us. And there's Herreras. Landis is trying to hold on, but Landis is done. He's protected us. So we're just going to bring Herreras up and let Roberto help Lance and keep him protected for this last little bit, but we're getting ready to attack. As soon as we get down to the bottom of this, the minute that this road turns right, I believe it turns right up here when I was playing it earlier, and as soon as we turn right and we head up the hill, I'm going to have Lance try to smash it. I hope it's a big enough climb that Lance can do some damage. If not, then they'll catch us at the line. But right here we go, and up we go, and I'm going to start right here with Lance, and we're going to attack, and out we come, and as you can see, they're coming out with us. There comes Hamilton out, trying to attack with us, and we'll go ahead and let Herreras attack too. Might as well bring both. But here goes Lance. He's over the top. And I'm afraid we just don't have enough, because they're going to be able to attach. Because you can look at Lance, his acceleration, his sprint's not great, 68 and 70. He is not like I said, he's not a puncher. He is an out-and-out climber at 84 climb. He is a monster climber, but there is no way we're going to stay out front right here. We're going to give it our all, but as you can see, here goes. Oh, there's Betton already coming to the front. He's heading up the sprint. We can't stay with him. There's Rodriguez coming out with him. Let's see how it goes here. So it's Betton, Rolf Sorensen, Rebellin, and then there's Rodriguez, Bartoli, Caesar, Bugard, Hannibal, and we take home 9th and 10th. 9th and 10th for us. That's the end of our racing. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Just remember, life's a ditch. Dig it. See you next time, guys.